I make focaccia, I like to use my very special extra virgin olive oil. It's special because it's very, very tasty and very expensive. So I hide it from the other family members who might use it for deep fat frying when they could just use vegetable oil or something else like that. Here it is. So you need 500 grams of strong white bread flour, and 2 teaspoons of salt, just table salt's fine, and 7 grams of yeast. And then some oil, of course my olive oil, 80 ml of that. And lastly, 250 ml of warm water. So that goes on the machine for 5 minutes, and if you're kneading it by hand, it will probably take a good 10 minutes. Just take it off, and I think that's done. A good way of checking is to just fold it underneath itself like that, and then stick your finger in some flour and just stick it in really gently, and the dough will spring back pretty much all the way. That way you know it's ready to go. So I just want it flat. The focaccia, it can be any shape. You can even do this in a tin if you like, a square tin. But I like to do mine a rough oval shape. So just squidge it down, and it does spring back quite a lot. But if you just persevere, it will stay there. Get my rolling pin. Just roll it down, and it keeps springing back, but just keep rolling it every direction. So I need to leave this bread to rise now. I like to cover it with cling film. So many people do it with a tea towel, but I find cling film is the best way. Bit of oil. The oil will make sure that the cling film doesn't stick to the bread. Good to cover it because it provides a lovely cosy environment so the bread can rise. It's nice and warm and airtight, but make sure the cling's not too tight because it needs to have that room to grow up a little bit. Leave that to rise. It takes about half an hour, but it depends how warm the environment is. I like to leave mine by a preheated oven. You can flavour focaccia with all sorts of things, like olives or sun-dried tomatoes or thyme. But my personal favourite is rosemary. Smells so good. Okay, I think my bread's ready. Lovely and pillowy, look at that. Oh. So focaccia has these dimples in it. You can just use your fingers. So put them in the flour so the dough doesn't stick to them. And then just do whatever pattern you like. Straight lines does look better though. And then the rosemary. So just take your rosemary sprig, like that, and then snip a little bit and stick it in the holes. For the next ones, I like to pinch off the rosemary leaves so you don't get the stubby cut off bit of the branch. And this is just going to infuse the bread with so much flavour. Okay, then some sea salt and a nice sprinkle, extra flavour, and it looks really good too. And then this goes into the oven at 200 degrees for about 25 minutes. I've been emailing with some friends and I've been telling them about my soon-to-be-ready focaccia. So I promised them when it's done, I'll send them a picture.